I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, fam, what is up? We are back. Another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, as always, Steve Rochelle. Be joined but on the right to my good friend, Mr. Daniel Bagley, this lovely man over here. How you feeling tonight? You have the internet tonight?
I am all good.
Have the electricity?
Had a rare moment last week, so we're all good now.
I know how that goes. I can't say anything. I know how it goes. So, but we're gonna have a fun one tonight. We're gonna talk some baseball. Obviously, the Phillies and the Mutts are going at it right now. Top of the third. Mets just got a sac fly to go up 1-0 about like 2 minutes ago. So we're gonna kick some things off. We're gonna talk a little NBA playoffs. Obviously, we got the Celtics and the Heat going at it.
We got the elephant in the room. A certain guy went off the other night. Won't speak his name, but I'm sure the Sixers are. I'm sure the Sixers took news.
We got some basketball to talk. We got some basketball to talk. So it's gonna be fun. Obviously, hour number 2, we're gonna be talking to Isaiah Steen. He's a pro boxer, 16-0. I think he's got 12 knockouts. He's fun, exciting kid, upcoming guy there in the Cleveland area. You should be having fun with that. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some football in there to talk a little bit more combat sports as well. But with that being said, each and every one of these episodes here at the Weekly Roundup is brought to you by our good friends over there at eXp Realty. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you're looking to change a career in brokerage, contact our guy at Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alanfoy@exprealty.com. And boys, we're gonna like I said, we're gonna have some fun one. We got a fun poll tonight. Obviously, things have been changing up in the Phillies organization. Aaron Nola, he's been looking good the last month or so. So let me get your thoughts on this one, Daniel. Aaron Nola will continue to perform like an ace for the rest of the year. Agree to disagree, Mr. Bakley? What do you say, sir?
I kind of agree with the Tom. He posted a thing to the poll. I sure hope so.
I'll get to it. We got to go through it. You know how it is.
The funny thing with this team has been we put a lot of emphasis on the pitching coming into this year, and then of course getting some of the bats to add to the team. The starting rotation hasn't been the problem with this team. They've had one of the best starting rotations on paper all year. I think they have like a 3.39 ERA. You got Aaron Nola, who leads the league in innings pitched. He's up there in strikeouts. Of lately, like you said, he's done a lot better because he was kind of inconsistent to start the year like he was last year. But he came into a big game the other night and had 10 strikeouts, got us the win when we kind of needed one. And the rest of the guys, if you look at 35 of the 45 games, I believe they were saying the starting rotation has only given up 3 earned runs or less in each game. And if you would have said that to me before the season, I would have been like, oh, that's great. We're going to have a great record. But the problem has been the bullpen and the hitters in the top 3 in the lineup because we can't get anybody on base. And we have nobody that's really hitting. We're striking out a lot, leaving a lot of guys on base. Of course, you got Bryce Harper. Even when he's injured, he can't even play on the defense on the field because of the injury, but he's still hitting insane right now, close to 300. He's up there in home runs, RBIs. He's trying to will the offense. It's just that he really doesn't have anybody else. Castellano started out good, but he kind of fell off just a little bit. Schwarber, To me, he is what you expect it to be. He's probably going to bat 210 to 230 this year, but he'll be up there in home runs and like 80, 90 RBIs.
He agrees to the poll, or at
Yeah.
least he hopes so. He hopes so.
Yeah.
So,
And then I think
Big Rob's up in the house. Appreciate you tuning in tonight, for
yeah. I'm hoping that Mickey Muniak coming up, he's coming up in the next like week or so. I hope that they actually use him and we can see him add like a spark to this team. I know he's been striking out quite a bit in his rehab starts, but he was hitting for power also as well, and in a park like Citizens Bank. That's something that we could use. We just need offense. That's what we need, and we need guys on base.
And
nobody,
agrees 1,000%. He thinks that the fan base is a little rough on Nola. I think we just need to realize what he is. He may not be that superstar like guy, but he's definitely your ace, your one. Sometimes he has bad games, weeks, months. How things go. Frank, I don't
think you need him.
I gotta shout out to my man Frank. When my girls used to train down there in Gracie, one of the kids who's amazing down there. He's one of these teen guys. He was competing at Fury Grappling this afternoon. Chase Pollard, big up and coming kid. Someone to watch over the next few years. This kid is an absolute machine. Frank, I hope Chase did real well. I know Cheyenne always be checking in on him. Appreciate you hopping on tonight.
I know he was on there before.
Appreciate the love.
I know they need to get somebody like Chase Hooper there, like a young guy who is just a grappling expert, and get him to Fury Grappling. I think he was there last time, but they
had a last minute replacement. Their matchmaker Brad had a grapple. I know Will Martinez was grappling tonight, so there was a bunch of guys. So I wanted to get I didn't want to get too much off the track, but I seen Frank's comment. I wanted to make sure he got some love up in there. And so let's get back to a little bit baseball right there.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, this is one of the things that Daniel was going over.
Just the starting rotation as a whole has been great. It's just been,
I don't know, man. The thing is that you're so hot cold with this team right now. You don't know what you're going to get. Obviously, we still haven't really even gotten into the meat and potatoes of this baseball season. We're approaching.
I feel like
that the end of that first quarter of the season. If you ask me. We're going to start doing the All-Star ballot voting real soon, so we'll see how that goes. But
I feel like Eflin's going to do like 6-7 innings. He's going to probably give up 2 or 3 earned runs and then have like 6 Ks, and they're going to lose like 3-1.
Now I guess my thing was like obviously I'll let you guys hop in here and go on in the poll. I want to throw it back up here real quick. Aaron Nola will continue to perform like an ace the rest of the year. I wanted to throw in could he be continue like to be an ace, potentially get himself in a Cy Young type situation this season. Do I think that happens? Probably not. But it's one of the things you want to see the best out of this guy. As Povia says, like a lot of the fans are hard on him, the media's hard on him, etc. I think he's one of the solid guys here. He's someone you're going to have to have in a good state of mind throughout the season. How pitchers are. They're quirky guys. They need specific things. So I really hope that he continues to stay on this trend. Continue to prove some of the haters and doubters wrong. His numbers are up there early in the season. Hopefully he can continue that. All-Star game. Potentially being some more awards at the end of the season, and hopefully give this team a push in the right direction to postseason. Because that's the overall goal. And like you were saying, we've been talking about. I felt like going into the season, a lot of people. We were talking last week. People feel like this team's overrated. I don't think it's overrated. I think we have an amazing lineup who, it's sometimes, they get in funks just like any lineup does. And sometimes they get hot or whatever. I still felt like the back end of the rotation in the bullpen was always the issue with this team, and looking more and more like as we're going through the season that is the thing. So I mean, hopefully, when things starts moving and shaking around, we can pick up an arm and shore that up and get this team rolling.
I think on paper they're not overrated, but they're not playing to their potential.
But I'm just sitting there saying we all had expectations when this lineup came out, like, oh, this is a 100-win team without a doubt. We need it. We may be under that. Who knows? We have to see how the rest of the season takes out.
Yeah, because right now there are a couple of games under 500, and the one, like I said, at least the start rotation's doing good. We just need a bounce. And I didn't even look at Ryan's comment.
He's got a couple of them.
No
I'm going to throw Ryan's stuff up there. Yeah. He's one of our regulars, so I always try to make sure I get to him.
But he said there's no balance, and I agree with that. It's just like,
the thing a lot of teams struggle with, finding that balance and consistency. That's probably the biggest thing that bites them.
But the difference is usually, the difference is that there's only one guy that's really hitting on the team, and that's Bryce Harper, and that's what's killing us. We need more than one guy to hit on the team. Like I said, we had a couple early, and then they fell off. Like Schwarber was hitting for power, Castellanos was hitting for average, and with Harper, and then they kind of fell off. And you need the team to start just getting on base. Don't like it would be great if everybody would hit for power, but you need to get guys on base, actually get them home, play small ball a little bit, because you're leaving too many runners on base where they could be scoring, and with the team where your starting pitching is doing so well, giving up 3 runs or less, that's going to make or break your team win-loss rise if you can't hit and get guys to home plate, because then you're losing those 1-0, 2-0 games because you're not hitting to support the pitching. Last year, both things weren't doing well. Like we pitched okay, and then later on the hitters picked up, and then it kind of like went back and forth. But now your pitchers are doing great, and you only have Harper, that's let alone the only offensive guy on the team, and you need to kind of get a little bit more to help out that pitching, because you can't expect the starters to go 7 innings
I know
every game.
I wanted to touch on Moniak coming up, potentially bringing a spark to the infield and into the lineup, bringing some of that balance that we need. Maybe we not having even Odubel Herrera's hijinks out there in the outfield. I mean, he's just so bad at times. I know he's wildly inconsistent at the plate too, but he
I feel like he doesn't try. I feel like he doesn't try half the time.
I don't think it
goes out and
it's not trying, man. This dude is like literally legitly stealing money from organizations, and
because he's good. Like,
and he signed off for it.
If you put effort into it, like he does it like effortlessly.
No, but
if you put work into it,
they say Moniak's ahead of schedule. We should be seeing him up here soon. What do you feel like? Is he going to bring that balance? Is he going to bring that spark and get the inconsistency at least on the hitting side of things? Obviously, he can't help us in the pitching department, but fielding, getting that kid in there, he was looking good early on.
Just like we said this beginning of the season, no matter how the bullpen does, at least if you could cut the blown saves in half, that team last year would have been a playoff team. You come into this year, blown a couple of saves, but the bullpen has been so-so, which is okay. All I wanted it to be was better than last year. And so to me, it falls on the hitting now. And I feel like the weakness is up in the lineup. You got the leadoff man, even the number 2 guy at times. and then of course 8 and 9. Those are the spots that are very weak. And I could see you bringing in Mickey Muniak right away. And even though he's been striking out a little bit, I feel like he can bring a little bit of spark to the team, because when you watched him in spring training, he had 6 home runs. He hit well. He could be a guy that plugs right in there with teams that don't really know him, because he didn't really play that much the last 2 years because of the whole Joe Girardi situation where he said that this wasn't really his type of guy, and Muniak had to force himself onto the team in spring training, and then he got hurt. I think he could come in there, play that leadoff spot, because hell, at this point, who cares who's there as long as they produce, and he can hit for power and get you up early in games, hitting wise at Citizens Bank Park. And I could do it. I could do with him striking out a little bit as long as he bats 260 to 280. I'm okay with it, because it's better than what we're getting now, and you can get him that at bats, the experience on the big league, and he was hitting well minus the strikeouts in his rehab start. So I think he's going to be a plus for the team for the rest of the year, as long as Girardi uses him. That's the big if he uses him regularly, because he should be. But we can never trust Joe Girardi with what he does. He could just still use Herrera the majority of the time and only have Muniak play every other game. He should be playing every day.
We'll see. I don't know about everyday time. He's still a kid out there. But
you have to do that. You have to put him in there. You have to see what he can do. You can't just be like, okay, he's just a kid. Once in a while and play him. You feed him to the fire. See what he does. See if he sinks or see if he swims. Because at this point, he was a number 1 overall pick. You gotta get some investment out of him.
Hold on, here we go.
I don't think Stott should have never been brought up to the big leagues this year, even with how hot of a spring he had. Shouldn't have ever been called up. He should play full-time. He wasn't ever going to play full-time. Wasted and ruined him. Ronald Torres should have been the choice of the Phillies. Top prospect he's playing. I agree with that. But they thought he was going to play full-time. They thought he was going to come in there and do well. And he was playing. It's just that he wasn't playing well once the season started. He had a pretty good spring training. And they're like, oh, this kid's going to be good, along with Muniak. And then it was just like, okay, he came in there and then just did bad. So that's why they sent him down, and he's playing every day now. So I was okay with the decision, because it wasn't like he was sitting all the time. I think he was playing like 2 games, and then they'd sit him the 3rd game, and then they do it over again. So he was getting a good amount of play. But when you do bad, they have to try and figure out what to do with you, and then they wind up just stop playing him, and then they set him down.
Well, we got Segura. Well, how you feeling here? You think you think he's going to make something happen here with first? And
that would be a big thing if he could get a couple of these guys home, because there's 0 outs in first and second. If you leave these guys stranded, that's a big one too. That's going to be a big.
Where was that?
Like this is the situation that I was just talking about, leaving guys on base. You got 0 outs, first and second. Well, you have to get them home.
We don't need a DP here, Gene. That's all I'm saying.
Like nowadays, I would even say bunt the guy to second and third.
Nah, here this early.
But no one bunts anymore. The MLB.
You're gonna get Harper over the third at least. See, so you get the sacrifice. You get it out. You got runners in the corners. So you're in position at least tied this inning.
Yeah. We got David chiming in. I was going to bring that up too, because we got game 6 going on right now.
Because he's down there in Florida, and he's been talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's saying we haven't been talking about him enough. I appreciate Dave bringing up the
right now, Dave.
So what you got?
we got an update right now.
Right? Is that correct? Am I right here? McDavid in his first cup.
What was that?
McDavid's still in Edmonton, ain't he?
Yeah, he's on Edmonton.
That's what I'm saying.
David
so
Draisaitl and
cup, right. So that should be interesting.
Well, right now at the West is set. It's Edmonton going up against Colorado. That's going to be a hell of a series. Both score a lot. Edmonton has been putting so many points up.
All right, so Davison is saying here's his predictions, right?
And yeah, I think it's going to be Edmonton, and if I have to say right now, Tampa. But if Carolina beats the Rangers, I'm going to go Edmonton, Carolina. But they're in Game 6 right now. It's 1-0. The Rangers right now, they just scored an early goal at home in Game 6. And it's been crazy because Carolina has not won on the road yet this postseason. And they've played 13 games. They've won 7 at home and lost 6 on the road. So they're 7-6. But they have Game 7 at home. So
do you think this is a bigger year for one of the young guys on the Philly? It's a bigger year for Reese than it is for Aaron. I think Aaron still has some real estate here, even if he.
I had so much. There was so much high hopes on Reese Hoskins, and then he just fell off the earth. For the first year, he did good.
We got to get Brink's response to the Nola poll here. He's gonna have to disagree. Track record shows that. This will be the best.
I could believe it, but he's been doing.
Well, like I said, we'll see what happens. Coming.
He's been doing good. All like
we're going to need Rob, but
like the most he's given up this year has been 4 earned runs. So he's given it up twice, and then he's at 3-1-1.
It's still
so.
Early.
He says the Phillies stink. By the way, not a product worth my time watching hockey. Hockey's been great. I'll give that to him. Hockey's been like the best postseason so far. Because NBA has been kind of, to me, unwatchable at times because all the teams are blowing each other out. The hockey has so many close games where it's a lot of back and forth. It's been very entertaining. And then you got the Phillies where it's like some games they'll win 2-0, but then some games they'll just be starting pitching does great and then the hitters suck. And it's just been like, I just watched a game just to watch our starter do great and then the hitters not back him up. It's just, I need to see, like I said earlier, both do good at the same time, not one does great and then the other doesn't, and then we lose. And we get this situation now where we probably should be 5-6 games over 500, but we're 2 or 3 games under. And it's because we're not playing consistent. We got David saying, I got Miami Heat versus Golden State Warriors NBA Finals this year. Yeah, I had the same thing.
We're gonna change gears here to basketball in a minute, guys. In a minute, we're gonna get there. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise. But I mean, I guess since they're pushing for, I mean, obviously we'll go back and forth with baseball, considering the Phillies are still live or whatever. And if any of the fam got some comments, let's switch gears real quick right here. And the boss man Tom made a post about our sponsor for this next segment, which is Manscaped. Make sure you're using that code A2D. Get 20% off. Free shipping with our A2D code at manscaped.com. That's 20% off for free shipping with the code at manscaped.com. It's time to take care of the tools, man. Clean the boys up. They got a new set of boxers. They got a whole other line of stuff. Also, guys, if you use that code, take a screenshot of your order. Look for Tom's post, tag me in something. I'm gonna add something because Tom's doing a giveaway. I got this dual sign mini helmet here. I'm waiting to hook the fam up with. Anyone wants to hop on that, do that. This next segment is brought to you by Manscaped, and let's talk some basketball, boys. Let's have some fun. Obviously, we're gonna have it's one of the best NBA playoffs in a while. Obviously, our Sixers is out. They underperformed. You know, it looks like we're stuck with Doc Rivers for another season for whatever reason that happens to be. It does look like Celtics, Heat, or Golden State's going to be the finals. I don't know, man. I think Steph Curry and them boys are going to steal a championship. Real quiet this season. I haven't been making a whole lot of noise. I think they're going to steal a championship this season.
I said it was going to be.
Is that the feeling you're getting? That's the feeling I'm getting in my.
I wouldn't say it's stealing because they.
Well, no, I mean I'll say they're obviously one of the best teams over the last 10 years. Obviously. Let's not try to downplay that. I'm just sitting there saying they've been on the other side of it. Falling short, injuries. But both to Clay, both Steph. They're big guys that have taken. I've been kind of taken out of it the last 2.5, 3 seasons. That's what I mean by stealing it. Like going into the season, I don't think they were one of the top 3 teams as being and it was the Nets, the Lakers, Milwaukee returning, etc. Those were kind of the sexy picks coming in. That's what I mean by stealing it. So let's we got to
remember though. We got to remember though, coming into the season, they did bad last year. But they had a lot of injuries, like you said. They came in here, they stayed healthy. They were good without Clay, and they had guys step up. You had Poole, who was starting for a while. Then he's been thrust into the 6-man role. He's had a great year. Draymond has done good. Of course, Steph Curry has done amazing.
Ryan actually hates the fact of a potential Celtics and Warriors. He's on the Heat train, and that could happen if Captain Clutch Jimmy Butler is balling out the way he's doing. He's putting in one of them playoff performances again. He was one of the reasons why we loved him in Philly. During that playoff run, he was one of those guys we could lean on. Where everything wasn't on Joe. And I'm telling you, I would have loved to trade James Harden for Jimmy Butler this season. That would have been great. or something to that effect. But
it would have never happened though, because but what they gave.
I know it didn't happen. It's one of those things where he kind of touched on it. When they knocked us out, Tobias Harris over me. I mean, there's obviously more to it than that, but
We got an update. It's 2-1 Phillies. Realmuto with the driving in 2 runs with the hit. So that's really good for Eflin.
Over his glove. Knocked 2, and there you go, man.
But I think one of the biggest things that happened to the Warriors this year was kind of crazy. Was Steph Curry went down at the same time as Klay Thompson came back. And so Steph Curry missed the last month of the season, and Klay came back literally 2 days later, and he kind of had to thrust himself back into game form right away. And it kind of helped out because if he would have came in and Curry was there, they kind of would have slowly integrated him back, and we might not have the same Klay where he was thrusting in shots right away, and he got into form very quickly. And he's been very hot and cold this year, but when he's on. He is a hot shooter at times, and you just saw the last game. He led the team in points in Game 6, and you got a team like that where you got Clay, Steph, and Poole getting over 20 points, and the rest of the guys can just do their thing. And that's a scary team, and they get a few extra.
Yeah, Double was trying to do your bunt there. Trying to knock him over.
So
I might go all those time matchups.
And speaking of the Lakers, they just hired Darvin Ham as their head coach.
I was hoping they would buy out Doc Rivers and we wouldn't have to worry about this anymore.
That's not going to happen. Like you're not the only person that said that. You're not the only person that said that today.
Doesn't even barely pace the pitchers, man. Oh my gosh.
I've had several people say that today about Doc Rivers, and I'm like, you got to think realistic here. with Doc Rivers. He's going to be here this season. And
Don Phenomenon. What's up, my friend?
What's going on, man?
How's things down there in Detroit?
Jeez. Yep, I just saw it out number 2.
Yeah.
And we got another update. It's 2-0 Rangers over the. So if it plays out like it is right now, they're playing the Madison Square Garden. They're going to go to a Game 7, which is nice. We've had a bunch of Game 7s in the NHL playoffs this year. I think that's what's.
Is the New York Rangers probably one of the few New York organizations you don't utterly despise inside and out?
Oh, I despise them, no matter what. But like, there's certain fans that I'm okay with because they're friends of mine.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, why y'all keep doing this? Y'all jumping the gun talking about stuff we're not going to be talking about until for like at least another hour. Yeah. He is, Ryan. He's about a good like 30.
I use YouTube TV, so it's going to be automatically behind most people. So that's the only thing that sucks about it. But at least it's 2-1, and they're up right now. I would like them to get like 1 or 2 more runs, make it easier for Zach Eflin, because that's when he can go farther into the game and use less of the bullpen, and it just makes it a little easier for the team. We need to win these close games. We need to get momentum. We need to get the guys and bring them home. He says, wow, you're pretty behind. I don't despise the Knicks. I just don't like the Knicks. Like anything with New York being here, I can't like them.
I don't know. I guess he didn't make it through the Ewing Starks era in Oakley and them, so I guess he didn't. Yeah. He didn't develop a general dislike for him, but I have to agree, it's kind of hard to hate him over the last like 10, 15 years because they
they just haven't done anything.
Ow! Off the shin.
That's always the thing that hurts the most is when you get hit off the shin.
Oh no, the top of the knee. That's even worse.
Oh jeez.
Oh. Oh, sure.
The one good thing though is what the Phillies is the team that they're playing is who we're trying to catch up.
Here, so you get something out of it here, and now he just bounced one off his knee. Who knows?
This is when the bets start to kind of usually trend downwards.
I mean, once they get to June, 76 pitches. You need to beat up on him right here. Blast him out.
Especially with how many pitchers that they have out. You should be beating them with their DeGrom out, Scherzer out. They shouldn't be winning as much as they do, but they have hitters, like I said. And Lindor's not doing great.
No, not. And lost a lot of steam into the inning, left the bases loaded.
But that.
All right, back to some base.
Talking about the Mets though, that's what the Phillies need to do. Even though one of their top hitters is not doing well, the pitchers are doing okay, and then the rest of the hitters are scoring runs, and they're winning games by their offense. And that's something that the Phillies need to take notice of and do themselves. Like I said, you get ahead. You don't have to play great, but you can be winning games because you're scoring runs, which the Phillies aren't. I'd be surprised if they're up there with that. Like they hit for power, but they don't do the small ball great. And like if I look at how they do like runs scored on the team, they do have 210, but the Mets have 230, and the Mets have the best guy not even doing well. And a lot of the 210 is probably Bryce Harper, Schwarber, and Castellanos, even with those guys not hitting well. Hell, the Braves are not hitting well and they had the same record as us because they got a great bullpen and good pitching, and they haven't really put it all together compared to us. And it's like you got to be we're one dimensional right now. Essentially, we're pitching with hitting that's lacking at times. So we'll put up 8 runs one game and then 0 the next game. We need consistency out of at least half the hitters on the team who we expect. And right now we're not getting it. And that's why like it frustrates me. And Brinkman said he's not going to watch it because
the baseball team is frustrating right now. Like Rob said, it's close to an unwatchable product right now because it's so predictable.
Yeah, you're going to have the pitching do well, and then the hitters leave a lot of guys on base. That's what it is. And then you'll have a low scoring game where the pitcher does well, he comes out, and then the bullpen blows it because your hitters are only getting 1, maybe 2 runs. We got Ryan saying Phillies don't have a hate for striking out. They don't make it a concern or importance as a franchise. You heard Smoltz earlier talking about that with the Mets. Yeah, like you got to hate striking out. You got to try and improve things. I think they're just okay with what they're doing now. And that might be a thing where you might have to get rid of the manager. That's the manager's job to fix the problems with the team. If we keep on doing this, they had been saying, don't be surprised if Girardi gets axed at some point because he's not correcting these small issues with the team. And the more it happens, the more likely it's going to get down to that road where you get rid of the manager and see if a fresh face can come in and fix the issue. See if he can come in, work on the team. I remember like Charlie Manuel that came in a couple of years ago and would work with hitters, and it worked out well. And maybe have him do that again because you gotta get to the point where you make contact with the ball. You're not just that's the one thing about the today's game that I hate. It's home run or strikeout league now. You don't get a lot of hitting in the field nowadays because it's become a cliche league where they put a lot of rules in, speed the game up, and it's kind of destroyed the game with what it was. And that's why the game gets unwatchable at times, especially with so many games, 162 games. It's just bad now. And with that, you got to bring a guy in that's going to work on the small things. And Girardi doesn't do that right now. And he just comes in there, he overthinks himself, and he makes mistakes. It's kind of like, and then I've talked about it before. Then you look at San Fran, you look at Gabe Kapler. We thought how bad Gabe Kapler did, and now we're like, oh, maybe we were wrong about Gabe Kapler because he's doing a great job in San Fran because he was actually given players to work with. He actually has a bullpen there. He has guys that they might not necessarily hit for power like we do, but they get on base, they score a lot of runs, and they do what they need to do. And they have a great bullpen, and he manages that well. It makes you look like maybe there's an issue once again in front office because once again, the Giants are one of the best teams when it comes to scouting, drafting players, bringing them up through the system. And what are we? One of the worst because we barely can draft. We can barely bring a guy through the system. When we do it, for some reason, they don't pan out. They start out great. They come up for a season or two where we show promise, and then they just dive bomb down because the coaching. And it's like I think this whole, if you have a season now where this team doesn't make the playoffs, I think there has to be a situation where you just got the whole team out. That's just how I feel because you can't keep doing mediocrity where you think you can kind of fix the team by spending money. In some cases it works, but like they started to overhaul the scouting department last year, which is great. But it's like now you got to think of coaching, you got to think of everything in itself. Maybe you have to think about getting rid of everybody if these players don't pan out and just do a rebuild. because if you're spending all this money to not make the playoffs, that's just a bad idea. You're not helping yourself at all. You're just putting yourself more in the hole than what you are, because it's like a Band-Aid. And that's why I'm hoping that they can kind of use this momentum and with what they have at the pitching and kind of correct the season. Maybe guys can get hot now that it's getting warm out and it's not cold, and you get that summer play where a lot of guys tend to do better once June hits. And we got to see how they do with that and how they answer. But if by August they say they're 10 games under, that's when I'm like, okay, they're done. You got to do something with this team, because they're not just going to go and be good automatically the rest of the season or next year. This is, what is it, year 3 or 4 with the year 2 or 3 with the Girardi. Haven't made the playoffs, and you got a roster that should make the playoffs, and they've all underperformed by Bryce Harper and Zach Wheeler.
Well, it's starting to rain a little bit down there, don't you think?
Yes, it has. It's been on and off the past 2 days.
We're already 4 through this one, so we'll see. You know, Eflin's looking good so far. Only got 53 pitches, doing considerably better than his the guy on the other side. So
yeah, well, but that is great, because it's only at the bottom of the 4th. But here's the issue: you got guys on first and third with no out here, and he probably would have pitched better. Like, I'm not going to say this is the excuse, but you were 2-1 and you had guys on first and second with 1 out, and then you don't get those guys home. At least they got 2 runs, but they could have had 2 more. But it's the same issue every time.
You definitely could have said they at least left 2 stranded, right?
Yeah.
It's starting to come down. Oh boy, here we go. I'll say.
Yeah.
Bottom 4. See if it gets by him quick.
Jeez. Let's see. There's a update in hockey. It's 2-0, of course. Give an update on that, and then for the people that watch the Union, it's 0-0 in that game. In the 48th minute, the Union are playing the New England Revolution. This has been this is the one team right now that is winning right now. This is the team that I can trust, that I can watch. And right now, since we can't trust the Phillies right now, at least the Union are first place, and they're winning right now. They've been doing great this year, but we got an update there. It's 0-0 right now in that game, in the, like I said, the 48th, 49th minute. And this is one of those weekends.
I'm painting the corner there.
Now, what are your thoughts on the Phillies? How do you feel like they're going to do, and what do you think that they need to do?
They need to get another arm before we could talk about anything. And man, 4-2 Mets. Eflin just gave up a 3-run home run. As we were just sitting there saying, he was dealing, man.
Yep.
This is life as a Phillies fan.
The day after he got it at the 1-year deal too.
Man, oh man.
And that's one of those Mets players that's been hitting well. McNeil. You got McNeil, Nemo, and what's the other guy's name? They just been hitting well right now. You see, he has 2 guys on base, and he gets them home with the home run. We're not doing that consistently.
We're probably gonna get a stop and the bat flip too. All right, guys. That's cool. Let's just say that the listeners aren't happy with that one.
But other than that,
they're gonna still get it in. All right, I thought it looked like they were holding it off for a second.
And because it's Memorial Day weekend, there hasn't been much going on other than the Phillies and of course the Union. Like we touched on it, the Sixers were eliminated already. The Flyers didn't even make the playoffs. They wound up getting the 5th spot in the draft. I expect a lot of news coming up with them in the next couple of weeks. Maybe a lot of moves to try and fix the team, maybe rebuild. We don't know. There's been a lot of rumblings with the Flyers front office with guys maybe cutting salary that they need to cut. I
think that should be in the middle of a media blow up. I don't think that necessarily anyone should be sick. Oh my gosh. Yo, how do you just miss that? This freaking team. The routine and you just overrun it. Like, what was that? Oy.
No, that's
typical Phillies baseball right now.
That's the theme of the year, man.
That's the epitome of Phillies baseball for the season. That's my thoughts on the season right there. You want my thoughts? There you go, Daniel. That's my thoughts. The giant.
Oh my God.
And no, that's gonna stay in.
Oh, jeez.
Whoever got that one. Jesus.
I do. Before we talk about anything else, I do want to touch in today for the few listeners that watch soccer. They had the the Champions League final this afternoon. Real Madrid against Liverpool. Real Madrid won the game 1-0, and a very great defensive game between the two. Real Madrid won the game. This is a team that a lot of people thought weren't even going to make it that far into the Champions League. And the people that don't know the Champions League, it's kind of like the World Cup, like format, but with the Spanish League, French League, Italian League, English League, and Mexican League. Like the top 4 teams from each league get put into it, and there's 32 teams, and then they do like the group stage knockout, yada yada yada. But these were the final 2 teams left from the year, and Real Madrid picks up their 14th Champions League title. They've won Champions League in 6 straight decades. They're basically to me like the Yankees of the Champions League. Ancelotti, their manager, picks up his 4th Champions League title. He's one of the best managers right now in soccer / football, whatever you want to call it. I give them props to it. Watch the game. It was great, especially when I really don't have that much to watch in Philly sports. Right now, with only the Phillies and the Union, it gave me something good to watch. And I just want to give a congrats to Real Madrid and beating Liverpool before we move on to anything else. If anybody has any comments that they want to do that watch it, just hit them up right down to the right. He said Barcelona is better than Real Madrid. They were better. They were better than them, but they had to do like a little rebuild themselves. They added a lot of pieces to the team, but when it mattered in the Champions League, kind of like Manchester City, they kind of choked and didn't make it that far. But I expect Barcelona to be one of the top contenders next year. I just don't see. I just didn't see that spark from them down the stretch this year with the new talent that he had with the Traoli and whatnot. But expect them to do better next year. It's just that Real Madrid had the perfect line to the finals. They were able to come back, play good defense. They had their goalie did great. They were able to win a lot of 2-1 leggers. They had the MVP of the tournament, Benzema, who had 15 goals the whole Champions League. And it was just one of those things where between that and the Europa League, you had a lot of like shocking winners between them and Eintracht Frankfurt, who won the Europa. But I just wanted to get that out there for the people that like to watch the Champions League. It's 4-2 right now.
Yeah, man. And that's the end of that. And got out of that, but still damage done. Three-run home run.
That's what you didn't want to happen.
Yeah, right.
You wanted to get out of it. Like if they would have gotten 1 or 2, okay, but it was a 3-run home run. It's gonna kill his confidence, and instead of like 7 innings, now he's probably only going to go 5 or 6 now, and you're going to have to put a little bit of worth into your bullpen now in this game, and hope that you can come back and score a few runs to tie it up or go ahead. It's all about that psychology there, and I don't think that they play well with that right now. It's
they got to answer back this inning. Not what would if I remember, was it 2, 3, 4 this inning? So you have to answer back. You got to at least get 1, if not 2 of those runs back.
Yeah, especially like you said, with the Heat on lineup right now coming in. You said 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah, because Schwarber was 1, and I think he was the last out. So
yeah, so now you got Bohm, Harper, and Castellanos, and quietly, with all the talk about him this year, Bohm has been quietly hitting the ball well. I'm not going to say great. I'm not going to say early. I'm just going to say well. He's hitting 287 right now. With all the talk about his defense and everything, he's being able to hit, and we don't talk about him. It's just because he's not hitting for power, but he's driving runs in and whatnot, and he's batting 290. Like that's something we should be happy about that, but with all the other issues, no one talks about it. It's kind of like the one thing that is going under the radar is the play of Alec Bohm, because all we want to talk about with him is how he plays on the field.
Hey man, you got a lot of guys that you hope develop, you hope plays a lot better this season. You got, like I already said, I still think it's more on Reese than any one of our younger prospects, or or some of your guys who are no longer prospect or just pushing the veteran status. As we were already talking, people are pretty hard on Aaron. No. You were looking at Eflin to be another guy here, and he just gave up a 3-run home run as you were just giving him some praise there. And here's Bohm. He's already got 2 flyouts, but let's see what he does here.
Like you look at it, it's like Reese. He has 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, but he's only batting 224. You already have a guy that's doing better than that, in the Kyle Schwarber. So it's like you can't have like a couple guys doing that because it's shown, okay, you're only hitting for power, and then the rest of the time you're just either getting out or you're striking out. Like you'd be better off if one of those guys was, say, hitting 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, but he was getting on base and it was batting 290. You'd be better off that way than two guys that are hitting for power, but then not hitting for an average. Yeah, and that's one of the deals. It's like you can only hit so much for power before you need guys to get on base and hit for average. That's why when you look at some teams, you're like, okay, I said before, the Giants don't have that much power, but all their guys get on base and score runs. Yeah, and they got the pitching to go with it. So it's like they can.
Harp's back on again. Let's see how this goes. Boom's out.
Same old.
Yeah, Walker's at 81 pitches, man. So this is going to be the time to do it. If you don't want to beat up on this guy, it should be now.
Yeah. Wick saying, can the Phillies beat the Astros? No, they can't.
No.
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 Not at all.
No. Oh, man.
The Astros are a good team, and they're first for a reason.
Yeah, they're one of these guys you got to watch out for.
I just look at that and I'm just like, yep, we're not being a team like that. He said, thanks. Oh, well. I think that guys like Bregman, Tucker, Uriel,
Alvarez, if you just compare their lineups and like maybe have them have a home run derby or something like that might be something they could compete with them with. We don't have to. We're going to go right back to this. We don't have the pitching to compete with the Astros to beat them.
But they got really good bounce though, and that's the thing. Like, it's not just it's balance as a whole. And this is even when the best player, Jose Altuve, isn't even playing great. Hey, he's supposed to be a best player, and he's not doing that. But they're still first place because they have all the other guys on the team that kind of balance it out. It's like we're Bryce heavy. That's what I'm going to call it, Bryce heavy. We're heavy on the Bryce and light on everything else.
So what Bryce is dealing with the Sixer syndrome with the Phillies, where he's just the guy that is just on the back right now. The whole rest of the team's on his back.
He might as well call him that because, and he's doing it with an injury. Like he's not even allowed to throw. He said tickets are cheap in Houston.
I mean, if you go to watch the games, you don't go to sit there and try to predict a win. I want to go see him only win. It just doesn't work that way, especially in baseball. It's rough.
You just want to see like I look at it like maybe like a good pitching
matchup. If you're from that that Texas Houston area and you're asking like if you want to go to a game, yeah man, go catch a game and watch this team play. And back to back singles again. This half inning for 3 and 4. So let's see if they can put something together here. They got 2 on. 1 in scoring position.
When are they playing Houston?
I don't know. You got about ready to switch gears here real fast. Bring our guest on for this afternoon and start talking some boxing, some combat sports, start having some fun. All right.
Yeah,
with that being said, our guest is already in the back, so with that being said, this portion of our programming tonight is brought to you by Gleason's Bar and Grill. That's located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, PA. Use that promo code HUT for 10% off your order. Whenever you dine in, take out, or order online, Gleason'sBarandSteaks.com. And let's get to it. Mr. Isaiah Steen, how are you feeling this afternoon, my friend?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
We're good. We definitely want to switch gears here right now because we don't want to yell at our baseball team anymore because they're playing absolutely terrible baseball right now.
Okay.
What about you, man? Like, I know, obviously, combat sports and boxing is kind of your life. Let me ask you: are you into any other sports outside of boxing? I know a lot of our combat sports guys, particularly guys who are making their way up. They just stay within what they're doing. Boxing or combat sports is their life. Do you have any other hobbies outside of your daily grind, man?
Oh, basketball. I used to play basketball myself back in the day.
All right, man. So, what do you
I can
feel
still
for
hoop.
this NBA playoffs? You feel like this is one of the more exciting playoffs in recent memory?
Oh, of course. I got the Celtics. I want the Celtics to win.
Why you Celtics, man? Like, I gotta get this one. What you're from Cleveland? You're from the Cleveland area, from what I'm gathering. Why the Celtics, man? Why the Celtics?
I go with Cleveland. I go with my home city, hometown all day, but they not in the playoff. I want the Celtics to win this one. I want them to win.
How did you feel about how well that the Cavs did this year? They took a step forward. They added a couple of good pieces. I felt Darius Garland he took a big step up and became an all-star player. How did you feel about the Cavs as a whole compared to the year before?
Oh, Darius Garland, he showed though. I like what they did this year. They was a good team this year.
Yeah, they definitely came in. They started out hot. They did fall off a little bit, and they came up short. But with a young team like that, it's a good step in the right direction for next year when there'll be more emphasis on making the playoffs and getting farther as a team. And those guys have that experience now where they can just put it all together.
Right.
Yeah. But I just getting your feel on it. I think the Warriors are going to do it. I know so some of our listeners were.
I'm tired of the Warriors winning.
We had one of our listeners. They don't want nothing to do with the Celtics. They don't want to hear about it. Obviously it's the Philly, and the Philly Boston thing is always going to be a thing. But want to talk to you a little bit about your career. I guess real quick, kind of give you're new here to A2D. Let's give the listeners a quick kind of background. How did you get into combat sports? What made you decide boxing? Obviously, you said you're also a basketball player too. What drove you to the pugilistic lifestyle, my friend?
Oh, back in the day, my stepdad had put me in the gym when I was 6. In St. Louis, I was working with Buddy Shaw. He started me in the gym at 6. Well, my name is Isaiah Steen, 16-0, 12 knockouts. But my stepdad, Charles Conwell, he put me in the gym at 6 with Buddy Shaw. And I just fell in love with it. Came to Cleveland, started with Sappho, and then how I went to Saba with Coach D and Clem Martin, and then after that how I fell off, and then I came down to Toledo and stuck with Toledo, took off pro, 16-0, good record, 12 knockouts, and super middleweight. I'm here now.
So I know a lot of guys move around. Especially being young in the game. Obviously, only having 16 fights there. Is this the weight class you intend to stay at moving forward, or are you going to be one of these guys that kind of moves around and weight, maybe go up a little bit, maybe go up one or two more weight classes that you kind of see what you can do? Is that the plan to stay there, or are you going to do what a lot of these guys are kind of doing, moving around a little bit?
I could stay at 168, but I'll go down to 160.
So you'd still go down too? Yeah, see? That's what
See,
that's what I'm saying, because boxing's a lot different. Like for people who like watch MMA, where it's just like you have like your just your basic weight classes, but boxing, you guys have weight classes that are like within 5 to 10 pounds of each other, and it's real interesting. You see guys move around a lot when it comes to that, but what 160, 168 looks like to kind of be where your home is going to be moving forward?
Say that one more time. I was messing
I
up.
said 160, 168 is typically where you're going to want to compete at, at least over the next few years moving forward.
Oh, 168. I want to compete with.
All right.
Every top boxer on 168, I'm making noise on 168.
Now, you said your step pops the one that got you into it. Is that who you kind of mold your style after, or are you someone who you pick up a little bit from everybody who you've kind of enjoyed watching over the years? How do you kind of define your style compared to his?
Oh, my style coming from this Soul City boxing blueprint, where I'm at right now in Toledo, Ohio. Otha Jones, my coach, Roshan Jones, Coach Ken, all of them helped me with my style right now. A boxer / powerful puncher when they come down to it.
I like how in a couple of your last fights, you've done a lot of attacking the body. With a lot of fighters, it's all about hitting the guy trying to spread it out. But you've done a lot of damage just throwing that jab at the body, throwing those power shots, kind of like just breaking them down. Is that part of like the big time move from your coaches, is to like put an emphasis on like breaking down the other fighter, making it easier for yourself going into through the rounds in the fight?
Of course, when I go down to the body, that slow them down going rounds. So they slow them down to get them out of there and see their weakness at when they come down to the last couple rounds, the last couple minutes.
Yeah, that one video on Instagram was crazy. He hit the guy with the jab, and he's just like, and you had him reeling, and it was just like over time, it's just like you attack the body, it shows the wear and tear that you do, because a lot of guys just get in the mindset, I gotta go for that knockout blow on the head, and then they just forget about the body. Right. Whereas if you kind of work both ways, it's going to do you better later on, because you're not getting yourself behind on the judges' scorecards. Because with you're attacking, you're doing a lot of striking, you're putting a lot of volume in, and it's helping you out. And then the other guy has to shoot for the head because he's already behind, and he's kind of forced to. Whereas with you, it kind of takes a little bit of the burden off of yourself, because you're like, okay, I'm way ahead. I can just kind of cruise or try and finish him now.
Right. It's just my jab is my key punch, boxing and jab. So once I get my jab off, I'm going straight for the body to slow them down. Like I said, when it come down to them later rounds, and then I'll throw my powerful punches, because I'm a hitter too. I get hit too. I got power too.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I think our buddy Reed was just telling me when you hit him with that shot in the third, it completely tore his shoulder out.
Right.
So we were talking about power, like even the glancing ones that aren't supposed to be landing, our, Mr. Steen's over here is ripping guys' shoulders out of their sockets. So he's got. Right. That's why I gotta ask if you were thinking about going up. I know you're sitting there saying 60 and 68 is kind of where you're staying at. When you have that power and you start putting some weight on it, you look what John Jones is trying to do. He's trying to go up to go from 205 to heavyweight here in the UFC. Obviously, that's a big jump when we're talking about that. But I mean, the question is, when you have that power and it translates over, sometimes it's easy to kind of go up and do those things. And speaking of which, I got to ask you, were you surprised that Canelo dropped his last one, this last fight? Obviously he's been dancing a lot with some of these bigger guys playing games, and you think it finally caught up to him, you think he's going to be going to a different weight class next time too?
Canelo, he one of my favorite fighters, so I was surprised to hear that, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I hope to see him bounce back. He's one of those guys that is keeping the sport exciting.
Right.
At least in the pure boxer sense. I'm really getting dung of people. The general fan of combat sports in general keep talking about Jake Paul. Jake Paul attached himself to Amanda Serrano to give what he's doing some validity. I don't know why no one's caught on to that yet. I don't get it.
Right.
And to think that with him, Canelo came out and just said that he's not looking for the rematch right now. His priority right now is the trilogy with the Triple G with Golovkin, which just interests me because you think he would try and go for the rematch, win it, and then go after Golovkin. But I guess he's looking with all the fights that he's had. He's looking for a little bit more of the money to kind of put that behind him. But moving on from that, the one big question I had for you was, how do you really know when you're in the right weight class? Is a lot of work and just see how your body reacts to how much you weigh, or is it kind of like a touch and feel thing where you try different weight classes until you just feel the just right at the one? Like, how do you know when you're at the right spot?
You'll know when the weight getting hard to drop. You'll know to go up. If the weight getting hard, like, a lot of people, a lot of fighters, they be 15, 20 pounds heavier than what they fight at. They walk around like 15, 20 pounds heavier. So,
and those are the guys that play with their lives a little bit too much.
right.
Well, you look at the UFC fighter Davison Figueiredo. I think he cuts 30 or 40 pounds to go down the.
I don't like
the flyweight.
I think all athletes should have a window that you're supposed to weigh within to compete in that weight class. I mean, I still think the way that we go about weight cutting for all combat sports is still, it's still like 18th century to me. If you really think about it, I think that you guys should just be at or around X weight during the camp, and then as you go into it, just be healthy going in. Where if as long as you're within X amount of pounds of the weight, that you guys should be good to go. I think you should weigh in during the camp, not 24, 48 hours before the fight.
No, I think you should weigh in just like how it is.
You don't think that you don't think a lot of these guys drain a lot of themselves out of themselves and then try to just quickly rehydrate back up. I mean, that's what they do to a sense. I just think that we should do it in a different way, just because one of these days, we've already seen it where guys, girls, etc., have pushed that limits, kidneys shut down, etc. Just doing too much, pushing too much, and their body shutting off. It's one of the things I just want to see change moving forward. I don't sit there and say I don't, that this is broken, but I just think that there's something they could do better. That's all.
Right.
But moving forward, obviously it's been some time since you've been on there. Last time you were on there, again, we were talking the fight with Calvin, big fight there. Showtime boxing. You had some eyes on you. A big slot, big win. You've been away from it a little while. I don't knock anybody on that during right now. COVID, everything else. You have a lot of guys, pulling out last minute, getting hurt last minute, etc. What was the reason for the layoff, and when can we expect to see you back in there? Twisting some necks around.
I've been training. I've stayed in the gym. It don't matter how long it been. I've been in the gym the whole time, getting ready for whoever come up, whenever. Just follow me on my social media for my next big announcement.
Hopefully we hear something soon with it. That definitely should be something fun. I know Reed's sitting there saying, I know you guys are working on something. You don't have anything 100% lined up yet, but right. Hopefully something within the next month or so. Hopefully you get in there, get it lined up, and get back to action.
You got to get this guy a fight. He's undefeated. He's looking
right.
It's not just that. It's just the landscape of boxing where he's at right now too. You don't want to just give him whatever and where somebody's just making a name and a buck off of him. Have the fights that make sense to kind of push it, him and whoever else he's fighting up the ladder. It can't just be whoever, right?
Right. It can't be. I'm trying to fight big fights. I'm ready to put my name out there. I'm ready to.
You're trying to fight.
Z-Wop's thing is. I'm ready to show 168 pounders what I could do with this blueprint coming from where I'm coming from.
Yeah, you're trying to fight up, not fight down, because
Well, it's
with
not
your
just
record.
that. It's just that, like a lot of times, like you got to think like the way like people who don't involve themselves in what happens with boxing promoters, combat sports, etc. It's a game of cat and mouse. Sometimes promoters giving you X guy, then when it comes down to the contract getting signed, well, that guy didn't happen. It's going to be this guy, but it's not really it's not really a guy that's gonna help. Isaiah go up the rankings to get to the bigger fights, to get to these title fights and things of that nature. When you're a guy like 16, this is where he's getting ready to kind of make his name to be a star, superstar, etc.
Right.
It has to be the right fights.
Right.
I look at this part and like it's like you're playing two games here. You have your fights when you get them scheduled and you fight, and then of course you win or you lose. But then you play this game with the promoters where you want to always fight up, but then sometimes there's no one available, and you fight down, and then you go, "I'll fight down for you, but make sure when I win, you make sure the next fight I fight up." But then sometimes they don't give you what you want, and it's kind of like a back and forth thing, and then you wind up not getting booked for a while because you're having disagreements. Is that something that you've seen a lot in the sport? Because I've seen it a lot just in combat sports in general.
No, my team, they'll tell me, my team got my back. My team got my back. My Jim, my brother, Charles Conwell, my coaches.
Yeah, I got a question for you on the on the YouTube here. You have any tips for for workouts, things of that nature? Because he's just a general guy.
Our first hour of workouts, we do rhythm classes. We got to get our footwork together. That's how I can last 8 rounds boxing, straight boxing movement. We get our footwork together with our rhythm.
What do you think hurts more when you're done? Your legs, your calves, or just your body from boxing? I still think just because people don't understand how much is in the legs to box, that they don't understand how tired you guys' legs are at the end of the day.
Right, your power coming from your legs, your hips, turning, all your power coming from your legs for real. So you gotta stay on your toes. You can't be flat-footed.
And that's just with that. That's not even including the moving around you got to do for a trail round. So you got to make sure that you keep a good pace. But then you got a lot of guys that move really fast. And I look at them like, geez, I can only imagine how many miles this guy runs on a regular doing all that. And then how much he has to do that to keep his cardio up. I give you guys all the credit in the world for all the training you guys put in, because that's just with cardio and that's not including any of the striking you have to do, any of just like the work with just your hands without anything, all the things that your coaches and everybody has training wise to get you ready for it.
There's
a lot of moving parts when it comes to getting these guys ready for this. It's not just one coach, it's not just one trainer, it's not just one training partner. There's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes. like is that one of the things that probably like drives you nuts sometimes? You have to get ready for the fight, then you have to be mentally prepared, physically ready, then you have to deal with all this other nonsense that you just medicals. You have to make sure this is situated. You got to talk to guys like us, leading up to the fight. Then when you get there, you have a whole line of media for other things. Like when it gets to it, is all the distractions a bothersome thing, or is it just it's something you just tune out and you're just waiting to see the guy on the other side of the ropes for you?
It's just making it worse for the other guy. You got all that. Everybody don't know the back scene of what you got going on. They just know how you performing in your fights. So all that is just making it worse for my opponent and making me stronger and
so that's what we got to do. So all right, so anyone who wants to see Mr. Steen really beat up on somebody, just make the lead up to his fight really irritating, and we might see him knock a guy out of the ropes. Who knows?
Well, to lean into that more, what are your thoughts on all like the big time fights where they have the lead up episodes into where they show like a day in, day out of a fighter training, what they do in their personal life. What are your thoughts on all of that? With like the big time fights on like Showtime and whatnot, they do that all the time now, whereas before they weren't really doing it that much.
Oh, my thoughts on that, it really really motivate me for real. Like seeing other people how they training and seeing how we train, like it just we see the difference of everybody else training, even though they ain't showing their whole training, they just showing what they want to show. But
do you think it could hurt them because it's being put out there, and then whoever they're fighting can kind of look at it and be like, "Oh, I'm seeing what he does." Do you think it could hurt them, or is it just like, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. He's going to see it. Like, if he's going to try and use that against me, then it's just showing that he's getting desperate.
I ain't really get that. Like, I ain't.
Daniel, simplify it for brother.
Basically, what I'm saying is when they put those videos out, they basically put it out to the whole world. So you see leading up into the fight. Is that something where you're not really thinking about the other fighter catching wind of what you're doing and you're just in the zone? Or do you have somebody?
You just in the zone doing your blueprint. Yeah. You already know what you know about your opponent. So you working on what you need to focus on, your blueprint. So to get ready.
Like to what Daniel was saying, and your response to that, like you get motivated by seeing some of those countdown videos and things of that nature, seeing what they're doing. It's one of the things like you see the hard work that they're putting in. Is like, man, this dude is putting in more work for me. I might want to do a lot of things, but I'm not going to have somebody outwork me, and that's one of those things about being a boxer. You have to be almost like OCD obsessed to a point with everything, just everything, your technique, your footwork, your nutrition, everything. And then it's just I guess it's what we can call a beautiful obsession, right?
Right.
When we're talking about just the overall aspect of it. But a few more questions, and we'll let you go on your way. Who's one of your oh, I guess we lost him a second.
Give him a second to come back in.
Yeah, I know. Give him a sec.
I'm excited to see the news that they have to see who he's going to fight next. That's going to be something interesting to see when they announced it.
Something, but also I think their publicist put the clamps on that. So
yeah.
So they're like, no, you can't say anything.
Well, while we wait for him,
I'm pretty sure if I go look in my messages, I'll have a name. But
but get an update on the Phillies game while he's.
No, don't update him. Don't update him. They don't need to know. They don't need to cry anymore about it.
7-2 Mets, and I believe, like, just like I said, no bats.
This is life of a Phillies fan right now.
Yep.
They could be swinging with freaking tennis rackets. It wouldn't matter.
Can update the Union and Revolution are tied 1-1 going into the 90th minute. So we got that. Hockey, it's 4-1 Rangers, so it looks like it's going to be, barring any crazy comeback, it's going to be
6-2 mutts over the Phillies right now. It's pathetic.
Yep. Hopefully he can get back in the next minute or two. So put us out of our misery with this game.
He said his phone died, so let's give him a minute to hop back on here. Get
No
the
problem.
get us both the last few questions. Get him his send off and cry about our Phillies a little bit more.
Well, I'm sure we said plenty enough on the Phillies.
Yeah,
what he said before.
I think, like I said, I think we spilled enough venom on this pathetic performance of a baseball team that we've been getting the last few weeks.
It's only going to continue if we don't do any better with hitting.
Here it comes.
Sounds good.
Take two and action. Yo, listen, I ain't gonna get mad at you, dude. Last week, my whole setup wasn't working. It took me 30 minutes to figure out what was going on. No, like technology loves me sometimes to a point. It loves torturing me. But what I want to ask you, what is one of your favorite all-time fights? Just regardless if we're talking boxing, whatever, combat sports in general. What is one of the ones that just like it just sticks out to you, no matter what? If it's on TV, like wait, I gotta stop. I gotta watch at least a few rounds of this. What's that one fight that'll make you stop and watch it?
My brother Charles Conwell.
Hey, listen, ain't nothing wrong with keeping it in the family and showing love. It he's obviously had a huge influence on your life. I got to ask you about this one too. Tyson was in the news a few weeks ago for literally acting out the meme that he's been kind of running around with. People are too used to talking crap and not getting punched in their face in real life, and he wound up punching somebody's face in real life. Do you pray you never get in a situation like that where you have some rowdy retarded idiot just invading your space and you have to get physically into it with them? Is that one of the things you hope like superstardom doesn't bring with?
Yeah, I hope I don't nothing like that happen.
I mean, we've seen some boxers get into some pretty wild things just involving themselves.
Right.
People remember, parts of the 80s and 90s, Larry Holmes and them going out on top of cars and whatnot. We've seen some boxers get into some nefarious things on their own. And then, obviously over the last month, we've seen some retarded kid on an airplane push Mike to the point of pouncing on him and literally acting out the meme that is his life. But I thought that was kind of funny.
No, I hope nothing like that happened to me.
Man, I hope that happens to nobody. But it's one of those things where you're glad that we've progressed to the point in life where someone that doesn't immediately think Mike did something wrong or anything like that, and literally, people had the video the whole time, and just this literally has become about this freaking idiot. I don't know what he was thinking, picking on Mike, thinking what he wasn't gonna punch you in the face. I mean, maybe that's what he wanted. The crazy weirdo was just like, you know what? I'm going to have Mike Tyson punch me in the face because he's on my plane today.
He probably really wanted to feel his power.
Some people are goofy,
really
man. Fans are weird. People are strange. It's weird when you get into the limelight like that. You're going to have people love you for a weird reason. You're going to have people love you for the right reasons. You're going to have people hate you for no reason. You're going to have people hate you for whatever reason in life. Sometimes you just have to keep going on, keep smiling, keep doing what you're doing. Daniel, before I let him go, last one.
I know you were doing this in the past. I'm not sure if you're still doing it now, but I wanted to ask you about the work you've been doing in the community. You've been helping kids out in the community, taking them off the street, train them a little bit, be basically a positive influence on their life. What made you want to start doing that? And then are you still doing it now?
Yeah, I work out with a lot of kids. A lot of kids look up to me. I volunteer with this Big Brother, Big Sister little program, and I be working with a lot of kids, showing them my boxing moves, like showing them basketball, like playing basketball, running, getting them active, staying off the streets, just motivating them, and really just like mentoring them, like
kind of move them into the right direction where like showing them, hey, if
right,
there's something that you want to do, I'm giving you the tools to use it and to push you in the right direction. And because
right.
you can always have people push you in the right or wrong
I was gonna
direction.
get out.
Yeah, and you're trying to give them every chance to go in that right side of things by showing them
Listen,
what you got to
the
do.
more professional
Yeah.
athletes get involved in kids' lives and push them into the right directions, push them into the right programs, show them that there's something else out there outside of running around with people maybe they should or maybe they shouldn't be running around with, etc. Just
Right.
anything to keep them occupied, not be giving them a chance to make stupid decisions. I think that is what we should say. If somebody was with us when we were younger to keep us away from some of that stuff, I'd have loved it. But sometimes you're not always lucky to have a professional athlete
Right.
around to be in the right neighborhood to do that. So sometimes you're in the right place, sometimes you're not. It's one of those things I really do admire and appreciate. A guy as young as yourself, you're 25, 26 years old, really young in your career, and you're making an effort to do that now. So when and if you do wind up winning, a world title, multiple world titles, WBA, WBC, whatever it happens to be, those kids are going to be like, wow, I remember when he used to take us, playing basketball. Remember when he used to show us how to move our feet and throw a jab right? Like those are lasting things that they'll remember. They'll tell kids, friends, like family. People don't understand how much those little things mean to somebody like that.
Right. They don't.
Now, I'm gonna put one last one before I do the wrap up. Music, man. I know I heard you're a big music guy. What should the fans expect for your next walkout song, man?
Whatever that's popping or hot coming out.
Whatever gets your juices flowing as you're walking out, right?
Right.
Well, now, like I say, music's your thing. Who's something that we typically find in your playlist, and give me one old school name too.
Well, I listen to Tupac changes.
Changes is always that song, man. Saying Tupac,
Young Boy, Lil Baby, Lil Durk. Young Boy, Lil Baby, and Lil Durk is the hottest out right now.
There you go. All right.
Do you listen to like music when you train? Is that something that you have a lot of say in, or do you like just let them, the coaches, and everything, deal with that? Is that something that you put emphasis on? You want to get in their groove, listen to something, and then start training?
Oh, when we train, we listen to slow jam, fast, rap, jazz. We just get in all them type of rhythms when we train. I told you, we do a lot of rhythm class for the first hour. So we do a lot of dances, stand on our toes, stand in the rhythm of the beat.
Now, what I typically do here, right at the end, my friend Isaiah, is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, shoot out your social media sites, websites, any charities you work with, give some love to your teammates, any sponsors you might have, and anything you want to say at all, my friend. The time is yours.
I want to thank my coaches, Arthur Jones, Roshan Jones, my coach, Coach Ken, Coach Chuck, my brother Charles Conwell, Jeremiah Lewis Watts, my sparring buddies, my sparring partner, my teammates. And I want to thank everybody who out there supporting, my fans, my family from all around. And I want to thank y'all for putting me on the show.
It's definitely a pleasure, my friend. Definitely looking forward to seeing your announcements, guys. Make sure you guys are following him on his socials. If you're on Twitter, that's _ ZWOP, man. He's got some training videos. He's got some highlight clips up there. Make sure you've retweeted that. Let the people know that this is going to be, this guy's going to be one of the hottest super middleweights coming in 2022, 2023, moving forward. Really appreciate the time tonight, my friend. Definitely looking forward to have you back on here in the future, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, thank you, and y'all too.
All right, thanks, Isaiah. All right, guys, that was super middleweight Isaiah Z-Wapstein. He's a fun one. Definitely looking forward to seeing what's next for him. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he's got something lined up in the next few weeks. They can't really announce yet. You heard them kind of circling around it like So we'll see.
They always got to wait.
What's up?
I said they always have to wait until everything's lined up, signed, and
sometimes mum is the word. Definitely a good one. Looking forward to seeing what's next. What's next for him? Hopefully he gets a big fight on a big network and gets a big name. Gets a real test. You want to get that in there. Like you want these kids to be built up, but you also don't want to give them freaking tomato cans, cream puffs, whatever the acronym you want to call a guy that should be put in a ring cage, whatever, across with another guy because they're just not meant to be in there right now. But again, that was a fun one. We're gonna have a lot more fun stuff going. What's up?
No.
Thought you said something, brother.
Nope. Just watching this train wreck right now.
The last segment of the wrap up for this one is brought to you by FanUp, the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D, and that's for 1,500 points. It's a $50 value, and that is the FanUp app. Make sure you download it, check it out. Make sure you're using that code A2D. Last leg here, and since we last talked, the Phillies are even worse. It's 7-2, bottom of the seventh. It's a completely different. This is what we were talking about. Not just the pitching, but the bats go silent. You get one inning of production out of 7 right now. That's you just can't do that.
And I talked about Lindor. I talked
baseball right now, guys.
I talked about Lindor. Not performing well, and he goes out and he hits bases loaded triple, clears the bases, no, he hits a triple and drives in 2 runs. So he's not once again a guy hitting in play and getting guys to home. Something that we don't do as much. And then Alonso pop flies, sacrifice flies, and gets him home. And that's how it made it a 7-2. And we had Eflin go 6 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 4 Ks. Not the best, not what you want. But then he gets outdueled by Walker, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 K. It's just that he's getting production help on his side, whereas Eflin doesn't. And Eflin starts just forcing things. We got Bryce Blackwell chiming in, my guy Jimmy Buckets.
Yeah, man, Bryce is a huge Heats fan too.
Yeah,
Bryce is a huge.
Bryce, how do you feel about this team? Do you think that they're going to need Tyler Hero to come back for the Game 6?
Bryce
to get you guys out there.
Was the winner of one of last month's giveaways that I did. So.
Yeah. Do you think they need Hero to come back to beat the Celtics in 6, or do you keep him out? Hope you can win.
I don't. No, listen. I don't play him in Game 6. I rest him, and you have a game to play with. You have that luxury. You have that advantage.
Especially
obviously you're going to need Hero for the finals. I would wait and see if you can get them out of there in 6 without them.
But that's where you tiptoe the line. It's like he said, we'll need Tyler for the finals. We can beat Boston without him. You can, but then at the same time, you struggled without him. You got Butler doing everything, but even with what he did last the other night, you only won by 8, and it was a close game until you pulled away. Like, you gotta hope you win, because what if you lose the next 2 games?
And Bryce is just hitting on what I was just sitting there saying. You got to rest them so you get that extra time before the finals start to let them.
But that's if you.
You have to beat him in 6 first.
Yeah. You got to win, because if you don't beat him in 6, you're going to go to game 7.
Then you got to play. You got to play him, and then you lose those 2-3 extra days of rest that he would have got. So
he's had like a week of rest right now, but
basketball players need a different kind of stamina to play basketball. It's one of those things, man.
I would say don't use them in game 6. Hope you win. If you don't, then I think you have to use them in game 7. You can't teeter that. Maybe we could get by without them. You got to be like, we need all hands on deck here, because this is a game 7 important. We lose, we're out. You out. Then you can be like, what if we actually used them and we won? Yeah, we could have got extra rest if we won without them, but then now we're not here with them. Game 6. I could swear it was game 5. Okay, then you use them. I think I thought that was game 5, because I could have swore it was. You see, I get so confused with the basketball at times with how it is. Yeah, it's 3-3. I think you have to use them. I think because I don't know why I thought it was game 6. I think you got to use them Sunday. You got to have them ball out, because if you don't, you're not going to make it past, because it's game 7, and you're at home. On top of it, I think that's a big plus for you being the 1 seed. Use that momentum. Maybe you don't have to use them as much, but just have them in that lineup and have them play, because that's the big thing with them. Is I believe last game where it was 111. You got a lot of production from him, and then you had to get a lot from Kyle Lowry, and you can't expect a lot from him. But like, you're not getting a lot of production from the bench with him not there. And by the Sixers with our bench, that when we didn't get much production out of them, that it didn't help us advance against Miami. So it's like, you want to use them in this game.
Listen, Miami's an interesting situation. You let the Celtics walk back in this one, man. Listen, you don't want to give that team, any confidence, momentum, nothing. You just want to bury them right here and now. Don't give them anything.
Yeah.
Bryce, I know that the listeners, the guys have already been chiming in.
Yeah.
The NHL playoffs have been fucking amazing, dude. Excuse my French, my language, whatever. However you want to put it. I think that this year's postseasons for at least three of the 4 have been amazing. The NFL playoffs that this year was amazing. The NCAA tournament was amazing as per usual. The NBA finals are delivering. The NHL playoffs are delivering. I don't even think
NBA is delivering right now. A lot of people are saying it's a down thing. There's not a lot of coverage with it, and not a lot of people.
But that's because. But that's also.
But maybe it's because of all the blowouts.
It's the minus LeBron factor, and I'm really getting sick of.
No, it's because it's not that
playing this game when LeBron James doesn't get in the NBA finals, but they tune out and all the major
with him though.
What's that?
I said it has nothing to do with them. It's just
I know but tell me when go and look how it's been over the last 10 years. When he's in the finals and when is at the finals, go and look how it looks.
It's kind of easy to say that when he's been in the final. He was in the finals every year, but 2 years? And then
But they say this every time he's not in it. Oh, the numbers are down. No one's paid attention to it.
Well, the numbers in the playoffs have been down every year, even with him in it. It's the fact that the game's not getting put out there the way it should. It's just not the same game. It's kind of a more boring game, like because we don't what excited people with the basketball was the inside game, the dunks, the close rebound, and everything. But now it's been like pushed out to where it's like a 3-point shooting elite. Now you get a lot of shots. Not a lot of people are getting into that. And then you have this year where there's a lot of
the physicality and guys.
Yeah, a lot of physicality. And then you had got this playoffs. It's a lot of 30-point win games, a lot of like beatdowns, and people turn it off because it's like, oh, this team, there's not a lot of close games. I think that's a big thing with it. A lot of the games are one-sided, and it's turning people away. Whereas in hockey, you got games going back and forth the whole playoffs, and it's tuning people in because you don't know who's going to win. Whereas it feels like in NBA, you know by the end of the first quarter what team's going to win that game, and it's been like that the whole time, and that's why it's been a down year for the playoffs, and it's kind of been like that for the past 10 years, especially when you have like a team like the Lakers. I mean, not the Lakers, like the Warriors, who made it so many times in the past 10 years. LeBron has made it so many times. People kind of get tuned out, knowing, this guy's going to make it or this team's going to make it, because they almost know what the outcome is, so they kind of lose interest with it. Plus the fact that you got all these stacked teams where it's making it less and less watchable for people. Whereas everything else, it's status quo for hockey, status quo for football. It's not like that. It's entertaining. You can watch it. The production value of it is great. Like, I love the post game for basketball, but everything else, like, I tune out of, because it's like I already know what's going to happen.
I mean, I get it, but that's also the NBA's job of developing this and marketing it.
It's just not kind of like baseball. It's kind of the same thing. It's just not the same game.
Baseball needs another steroid era? Is that what you're saying?
No, but like I said, with baseball, you know how the pitchers, they kind of like rack things up with that, where they have to speed up the process. They've moved things in the outfield in a lot of ballparks. They're trying to create more offense when you don't need to in the game, because they're saying the game is boring. We got to speed things up. Whereas the game was fine already, and then you kind of ruined it. Like, we talked about this, and me and Zach were a proponent of it. Like, they kind of messed with the game that didn't need to be messed with. And with all the new players in basketball now, it's all about shooting now. I love the physicality of the game in the 90s and 2000s, where you impose your will on the other team, and you had a lot of games where it was 90 to 88 was the score, because they played defense. Now it's like, it's just like the All-Star game. You got 120 to 115, and there's like defense. It's like, oh, let's hope we can play defense, because there's not much of it now, because there's a lot guys shooting almost half court and making it half the time, because they're shooting a lot of threes, jacking up 15 threes a game, spreading the field out, and the center position is like very few guys there that actually play.
And speaking of which, what do you think of Jokic's contract?
He deserves it. It's big. It's huge, but he deserves it. You get a guy that almost averages a triple-double at the center spot. Nowadays it's positionless. Like, he deserves that with the team that he's on in Denver. I think it's crazy that Embiid didn't get first team. They say it's because Jokic got it, but it's like, it's positionless now. You can just put Embiid at a forward spot and have him make first team over any of the guys that made the first team All NBA. and he would have been okay with it. But it's like,
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
this is just further proves my point that they hate Joel, they hate the process, they hate us.
No, they just don't know what they're doing. Like they say it's positionless, but then they don't put them up there. They don't.
Base is loaded now, and 8-2. This is good.
Yeah.
Would you still be there? Bottom of the 7th. It's like this. Would you sit through the rest of this, or are you going home?
I would have went home. I would have went home. I would have been like.
Let's see if any of the listeners give an honest take on that. Are you staying or are you going home, guys? Are you staying through this debacle here in New York?
If 5-2, I would stay. 8-2.
8-2 bases loaded right now, and
Yeah.
Girardi just yanked the reliever.
Yeah. The wrong time to do it.
Well, I was trying to hold out the hope that Zach would make it on, but doesn't look like that's going to happen.
No.
So, I think I'm going to put a bow on this one. I don't want to bellyache over our Phillies too much. We talk some baseball. I mean, unless you want to touch on some football, but I want to wait on to it for next week.
I think we'll wait on it because it's in
between
time.
Things, but because it's been a few weeks since me and you talked and things of that nature. But
yeah,
I want to wait till Zach gets back on next week and we can really dive into it. So
they do stink.
What's that?
No, Rob just put in they stink out loud.
Oh, really? They stink. While we're at it, before we wrap this one up, guys, make sure you guys are a member of our A2D premium members on YouTube. That's only $9.99 a month. Perks include appearance on shows, member only streams, shout outs, weekly sports picks from Money Pot and our boy Big Willie Vegas, and with the occasional we spin the wheel, we do a giveaway for our premium members that they're on YouTube. Obviously, I've already told you about the one that we're doing. Tom's are already hooking up some of our listeners with stuff. Guys, make sure you guys stay locked in, subscribe, join our premium members, support it in any way you can. Other than that, this should put a bow on this episode. Yeah. Appreciate Isaiah Steen for his time. Definitely don't appreciate the Phillies for another pathetic showing tonight. Don't know what else to tell you, fan. This is bad baseball. I think you might have to get used to this. This might be barely an 80, 80-90 win team at this point in time. I think the 100-win baseball team is way out of line. We'll see what June and July holds for this team. This is when they're going to have to start making a difference. We'll see. 7 hits, 2 runs. Can't do that. Can't do that. Absolutely can't do that.
Yeah.
But we'll be back next week. We're gonna have some fun, guys. Make sure you're tuned in next month. I've already been working on something. He's already been unbooked, resituated with some of the stuff that we've been moving around. Make sure you're locked in. Make sure you're a member. And make sure you're keeping an eye on all our socials because we're going to be doing some fun stuff with some of our Major League Baseball veterans. We'll can't tell you too much more right now. Do have one guest booked for the 11th. You guys are going to have to just tune in to see who we're getting. I probably should have another guest next week. We'll see what happens.
Maybe we'll do a little bit of watch of Vegas 56 next week.
Yeah, we should be able to get that on the last half hour next week. Maybe kick Zach off since he'll probably just be staring at a screen.
Like he's doing right now.
No, I don't think he's staring at a screen right now. I think he's doing what he needs to do. Appreciate the love, Ted. Really appreciate the love.
Yeah.
And the funny part is me and Daniel aren't even the ones that been on here the longest together.
Best duo in South America. I'll take it.
I'll take it. South America. Let's do it. South America, North America, Philadelphia, the greater Northeast. South Jersey, wherever you're at, guys. Appreciate your love. This was another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm Steve Rochelle. That's Daniel Bakley. We'll be back with Zach Bird next week, talking baseball, talking football, talking everything Philly sports and everything in between. We'll see you on the rebound.